Boom, boom, Ratsa. Welcome back to another episode of One Nation Carrier Corner with my main man, Idaki. Dark Chocolate. This is Nyama from KZN, who's currently in Joburg working in the computer science sector, but he's going to tell us what he does for a living. Sir, please just start off by telling us your name and tell us what you are doing for a living in 2020.
Sure, Mpilo. My name is Phakamani and I'm a Zuma, but not related, unfortunately. I work as a quantitative analyst for one of the big four banks in South Africa.
Wow, quantitative analyst. I've never even heard of such. I've never even heard of such a career. What does a quantitative analyst do?
Okay, so basically, it depends on the space that you're in, right? So in the bank, I'm currently in the insurance space.
Okay.
So it means that I deal with the data that the bank collects from the people that we sell insurance to. So if somebody sells Umpilo an insurance, life insurance today, it has to be collected. That data has to be collected. We have to know who you are. We have to know how much you are paying on a monthly basis. We have to know how much we are covering you for. And we have to try and predict when you're actually going to die. So we collect all of that data about you, and then we build models that are going to predict how many people in South Africa are going to die in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. So it depends on the space that you're in. So if somebody is in credit risk at the bank, but it's a quantitative analyst as well, then they'll collect data about the risk of giving you credit. So if Mpilo comes to the bank and wants a loan, we have to understand exactly where Mpilo works. Can Mpilo afford the loan? So we work with data basically for customers, and then it's highly dependent on where you are in the bank, and then you get to know what you actually do with that data.
Wow, bro, that's crazy. Like you just blew my mind. You just blew my mind. Like honestly, Angelo, I know we interviewed a credit analyst before, but he field was in the. He said he deals with businesses, like they would do credit for businesses. What he told me just blew my mind. Okay, you look like a young freshman. Let's take it back a little bit because you look very young. But you just told me like a person would think it's maybe like a guy who's 40 or in his late 30s could be doing this job, but you look very young. Let's take it back a little bit. Where did you go to high school? Where did you? Which year did you finish in high school? And where did you go exactly?
So I went to ML Sultan. So if you know Pietermaritzburg, there's a school there in town called ML Sultan. Very famous school for misbehavior in Pietermaritzburg. So we had a rough start to this education thing going to ML Sultan, but fortunately we survived. And I always tell people, when I finished high school, I didn't do well enough to get into university, right?
Okay.
So I got accepted at a University of Technology, and I told my parents, no, I'm not going there. I want to go to UKZN, right? So I had to sacrifice a year and actually upgrade my results. And Ang's soul in faith. Not at all.
Yeah.
Like
So basically you passed, but you didn't pass the way that you wanted to pass, so you had to sacrifice.
I had to sacrifice a year, go and upgrade my results. After I upgraded my results, I then got into UKZN and started studying computer science and information systems. So that's what I eventually got as a degree. I didn't do my honors because
so you said you did computer science and what?
Information systems. So,
I just wanted to make sure that we get it clear.
So at UKZN, you have the option to do double computer science. So they teach you a lot of computer science. Or you do computer science and another major. So you can do computer science plus economics, or you can do computer science plus physics. So you have that option at UKZN. I don't know about other universities. So I did computer science and information systems. So information systems is a bit like IT for someone who has studied IT before.
Oh, okay, cool. So you said you didn't get your honors. So when you did what, your 3 years, how long was the course, the degree, your qualification? How long did it take?
Yeah, so it was rough, eh? Actually, it was supposed to
ML
take 3
Sultan.
years. It was rough from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to do 3 years, but I ended up doing 4 because I woke up one morning and I said, I'm not going to write that paper. And I didn't write that paper, and then I had to come back the next year and write that paper.
Okay, so you weren't
yeah.
prepared enough to write.
No, some battles, you just put the spear down and walk away.
Okay, okay. But since you're here today, you're working. So like I'm sure there's things you learn with that journey that you took for yourself that you're applying in life, like right now. Okay, cool. So you do your 4 years, and then you're done, and then how do you now end up working for one of the biggest banks? Did you have any other job that you did before this that prepared you for this, or you just went straight through?
No, so in the last 3 years, I've changed jobs 3 times. Okay.
Wow.
So when I first got in, I got into an accounting firm, which was very interesting. One of the big 4 accounting firms in South Africa as well. I got in as a technology advisory graduate. Right? Okay. So basically it's auditing, but auditing the technological systems that a business would use. Right? So I got into that. I enjoyed it a lot. But due to some circumstances, I wanted something better. And then I just started applying everywhere until I got a job at F&B as a business analyst. Right? Okay. So I joined as a business analyst. I worked for a year as a business analyst. I said to myself, no, I need something more challenging. Then I got the job as a quantitative analyst. So it's actually been a long journey to here.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I wanted to say, don't say which bank you're working for. I don't want you to get into trouble. I wanted to stop. I'm like, let me just. Since you didn't come. Okay, cool. So continue then. So you're saying you got in the job you're doing right now as a business analyst.
So I got in as a business analyst, which is something totally different to what I'm doing now. Wow. So I think that's the one thing that's really good about corporates. You are allowed to go on mini adventures, trying to find your niche or where you best fit. Right. So I've been fortunate enough that I've had 2 managers who were confident in taking a chance with me, because I started in auditing, then I went and became a business analyst. Then I went and became a quantitative. So if you look at the 3 fields, it's 3 different fields. Right?
Exactly.
But they all contribute to you as an individual. So when you're applying for that job, you stand out because you've got experience in 2 other fields rather than somebody who just has experience in that one field. So it's actually an advantage and a disadvantage. It's all about how you look at it and how you present it to the next person.
But why would you say it's a disadvantage? Because to me, it sounds like a very good advantage. What basically brings me to a question I would ask that almost comes with the challenges of doing the work that you do. Basically, it falls under that. Why would you say something like that? Because to me, it sounds like a very good thing.
Yeah. So it's, starting over. The thing about starting over is that wherever you go, you start at 0. So with whatever experience you have, from auditing coming into being a business analyst, I had to forget 90% of what I did at auditing and take 10%. And that 10% was people skills and how to talk in a boardroom, how to address the CEO versus how to address a business owner, So there's skills that you pick up in every job that you do. But whenever you start on a new career path, you must understand that you start at 0. And obviously you're at a disadvantage because your career growth. So I've got 3 years of experience doing 3 different things, right? Let's say you have 3 years of experience being a business analyst. It means that you are highly proficient in the field of business analysis. And it means that I'm an all-rounder in 3 different fields. you know. So for in an interview, if somebody's looking at you, it's highly dependent on them. Do they want a super specialized quantitative analyst, or do they want a well-rounded person who they are confident that they can pick up whatever it is that they are taught, right? So look at it this way. Imagine in my interview, if I was going head-to-head with somebody who has been a quantitative analyst for 2 years, while I was being an auditor and a business analyst. So when that hiring manager looks at the two CVs, they might be more inclined to say, no, this dude has 2 years of experience doing the work that I want him to do now. So they'll hire him. You know what I mean? Another manager might say, we've got too many people who are doing the same thing in this business unit. Let's get in someone different who's going to offer a different perspective. You know, maybe we all, like there's 6 of us and we're all quantitative analysts. Let's bring in someone who did auditing. Maybe they'll look at this thing from a different perspective. You know, so it all depends on where you go with it. You know, sometimes it works in your favor, and sometimes it doesn't. You know.
Okay, cool. No, I get it. I understand. I get it, Anjalo. So basically, you just decided to make a positive situation out of to look at the positive out of the situation, and you went with that, which is another thing that we want young people to adapt, even in high school. Like, for instance, you told us, Guti, you didn't get great marks, so you decided, okay, instead of saying, let me sacrifice this year because I know you knew what you wanted to do, you knew what you wanted to do, the kind of place you wanted to be in. And time is relative, because right now, with the time that has passed from the time you finished matric and where you are right now in life, you've quite achieved a lot, you've done a lot, of which is great. It's what they say in English, man. It's not a sprint. It's a race. It's not a sprint.
Marathon.
It's a marathon. Yeah,
it's a marathon.
Running your marathon in your own pace. You're creating your own rules. Is running, and you're making sure, Guti, you're doing it, and you're getting satisfaction out of the job. Because it sounds like your job. I mean, to me, it shocked me when you told me. But now it sounds like as you are going deeper into it, you're explaining to it. It sounds like something that a person can really enjoy being into because of the challenges that it brings. Then a growth that comes with it. Because I'm talking to you today, maybe in a year's time, in 2 years' time, you won't even be working for the same company you're working for. You'll be working for another company doing another thing, of which is why I really like the idea of young people getting into computer science, information science, and all those things, IT. Like right now, understanding the opportunities. Because when we grew up, it was like to a humble fundi computer, of which is a difference studying a computer than doing
Microsoft Word.
Exactly. I'm saying you come from wherever you come from, in the outskirts of KZN, you come to Durban, you fully computer for a year. You're like, what? How are you fully for a year? Know exactly what you want. And the person really wants to do computer science, like they know, okay, this is the thing I want to do. I'm not gonna even go back. But if I have to make sure my marks are okay for me to get in to a particular institution, I need to do that. Obrazo has told us that, like sacrificing as easy, don't rush, because I'm sure there's people that you left with in high school. You guys all passed. And I'm saying you all were in a paper, all of you. But now they went and studied. Maybe some of them gave up along the way. Some of them they failed. Some of them succeeded because we wish the best for people. But it's like now you guys are all equal because we are spana. You've got your own things. You live in your own life. You're born and you're relaxing in this afternoon. No one is saying.
That's a very important point. I always tell people, there was a very close friend of mine in high school. We both got accepted to the same University of Technology. And he accepted the offer, I rejected it, right? But because we were friends, I remember having to help him move in to IRES. And deep down, I was thinking, I should be here. This is where I was supposed to be at the time. But also deep down, I was saying that, no, this is not for me. So I think it's a very important attribute that we need to develop as youngsters, to sometimes say that this is not for me. Not every door that opens for you, you're supposed to go through it. Sometimes you take a look at what's inside, and you close that door and you wait for yours to open. So it's very important for you to define where you want to go very early in your career. Define where you want to go so that when opportunity comes, because opportunity will always come, but what is important is it the opportunity that you are supposed to take? And I think that's where we fail as most young professionals. Right? If somebody came to me right now and offered me a job, I'll turn it down because I know that this is where I'm supposed to be. Even if the money was more than what I'm earning now, I'd still say, no, you know what? I'm developing here and this is where I'm supposed to be. So that was a very hard decision for me to say, no, I'm not going to go into university. I'm going to go and upgrade my marks. But looking back and having studied computer science, it's great. It's awesome because you not only study computer science, but you study statistics as part of the degree. You study maths as part of the degree. There's an element of economics as part of the degree. So the reason why I got into an accounting firm was the fact that I studied economics as part of my degree. So I have an understanding of business. So it's a very versatile degree, and it takes you to all sorts of industries. You can go anywhere. You can go anywhere with computer science. So I encourage young people who are thinking about it to say, no, to just pursue it. It's hard. I won't lie. It's not engineering hard, but it's hard. So you go in there and you put your head down and you work. You come out after 4 years and you reap the rewards, man. The jobs are there. It's the qualifications that are not there. We can't all have 1 million qualifications, the same qualifications, and then say jobs are not there. So just check this thing of getting into university. What's available? You must never do that as a young person. You must go in there wanting one thing or 2 or 3 things, and if they are not there in that institute, then go look for another institute. Never go into a university and say seksele in iskala siwuphi, because you'll never get anywhere with that qualification. And then you hear things like, there's so many graduates who are sitting at home in South Africa. When you look deeper at it, what is the qualification? What is the qualification and where is the job industry for that qualification? Because we studied was excel. Kusele for a reason. Kusele for a reason. So work hard, my friends. Work hard. Go after what you need to do. Do what you need to do, friends. Fix your focus. And this thing takes 3 years. And you set for the rest of your life. You get a 3-year degree and you are forever a computer scientist. When I'm 60, I'll be a computer scientist. When I'm 90, if I'm lucky enough to make it there, I'll be a computer scientist. But I did it when I was 21 until I was 24. So it's a small sacrifice for a very good life after that.
That is true, brother. I was going to ask you what advice you want to give to people, but you just literally and then you've said everything that you had to say, Ganjalo. And thank you so much. We need people like you. Why? Actually, because you're not sugarcoating things. You're saying things. I love it because you're saying things the way that they are, and people need to hear things the way that they are. Not this thing which we're going to sugarcoat things because we want to tiptoe people's feelings, and then people are at home unemployed because you were thinking about their feelings. At times, people just need to know the truth. Just like why we started this thing. We saw a need, which, listen, our people, our kids, the people who are going to come after us, because it happened with us. And then you are a generation that came after me. It happened again. And you're seeing the same pattern. You finish matric. At times, your parents tell you what to go and study. Okay, cool. Some people are like pursuing that. But in most cases, that doesn't work out for most people. If somebody tells you, go and study this because I'm paying for this. But if you come with a strong argument, hey, listen, I want to study computer science. I want to study information science. I want to study this. I want to study that. And these are the reasons why I want to study this thing. It makes a very good argument for your parents to say, you know what, go to I'm a computer, because our parents are old. Their parents are old. They don't understand the forever changing world that we're living in today. So it's up to us to have things that are going to educate them as much as we want to get educated ourselves. To say, hey, listen, if I want to go study this thing, listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. Watch this guy. You see what this guy is talking about? This is exactly where I want to be in my life. You know my personality to mom and dad. You know what I'm capable of. Please allow me to give this blessing so you can go and study. And when you get to university and you get the opportunities, because not many people get it, you make sure that you kill it. Mistakes do happen. Now when I was in university, first year I got 2 legs in lens. I got 2 legs. But luckily, I mean, I was able to.
Yeah, we all get
that. But I was finishing house because it was nothing. It was just like things that they were literally new to me that I hadn't studied. It was physics and biology. And in high school, I studied a commercial subject. So when I got to varsity, there was physics and biology. I was like, yo, this is I ended up failing those things first year. But second year, I picked those legs up because one was first semester, the other one was second semester. So I was able to add on. Then I passed. Then I was able to hang on. And then I finished with the time I was supposed to finish my teaching degree at the time. So like we really, really appreciate people like you, Brazo, for coming out and actually talking to the youth and informing the youth about all sorts of things that are available, that are out there. Okay, before you go, I want to ask you something. I want to ask people this because there's an easier way. There's a saying that says work smarter. It's in work smarter, not harder. Where I'm getting into this thing is there a way for a person to say, okay, I don't have money to go to varsity, but there is courses I can take online? Like a couple of guys I've spoken to, they told me about you, like I code, Bangjelang or Udemy. Are there any other places that you can say which a person can learn, at least just to understand this thing about coding that you feel like they can apply themselves, even when they're still in high school? They don't even have to wait till they finish high school. They're still in high school, but they can just come through, Betty 1, 2, let me learn how to code just so I can prepare myself.
So I think when you look at platforms like that, right, at the end of the day, everything that you're trying to do when it comes to upskilling yourself, it is so that someday you can present yourself to a potential employer and that employer sees value in you, right? So there's a million different platforms that we could suggest and say, go and study here, there, and there. But the key thing is, what do most major employers look for in an individual? So the first thing is a degree, right? We can't run away from that. The first thing is a degree. But understanding that there are circumstances that force us sometimes to not be able to get our degrees and our diplomas. One of the most recognized platforms out there is Udemy. And it's recognized because it gives you certification at the end of every course, right? So if you do a 3-day course today, on the 4th day, you'll have a certificate. If you do a 12 weeks course, on the 13th week, you'll have a certificate. So I like Udemy and I use Udemy even today because then I can go to my boss and say, hey, look, I've been certified as a cloud specialist. So what opportunities are there in the business for me to take and to grow into? And then they'll say, no, because you are certified, then you can try and do this, and that. You know? So it'll be very difficult to get into corporate without that type of certification. So that's why I always encourage people to say, whatever platform that you use, there's so many online learning platforms. Even LinkedIn has a learning platform now. So the first question to ask is it accredited instructors? For Udemy, that's a tick. It's accredited instructors. They come from Harvard University sometimes. Are you going to get certification at the end of the day? Because it's all good and well when you studied Java online for 12 weeks. But if you can't give me a certificate that says you passed an exam, because that's what a degree is. A degree is we've given this 12 exams and he's passed all 12. And therefore they give you a degree. So Udemy does the same thing, but it's on a course-by-course basis. So whenever you finished with a course, you go through a test, and then you pass that test, and then they give you the certificates. So I've seen that hold a lot of weight in corporate. I've seen a lot of people getting a lot of opportunities by presenting these certificates. Another platform is it We Think Code. But it's a coding school that takes you for 3 months, I think, and then they give you a certificate as well. That works as well. That's a good one as well. But I think just try your best. There's funding out there. There's NSFAS. There's bursaries. Try your best to join an institution, a recognized institution. Study even a diploma, but in the right field. It doesn't have to be a bachelor's degree. It can be a diploma in the right field, you know. So study the job market, right? Study the job market right now. You know, the big thing right now is remote working, being able to work from home. right?
Yes.
A lot of people lost their jobs because they couldn't work from home. It was either they worked on premises or they didn't work. So if you are still chasing after a job that forces you to be on premises and you can't do that job remotely, you are in trouble. Because if something like this happens, and it's rare, maybe it won't happen again in our lifetime, right? Maybe something else will happen that will still force us to work remotely. I haven't been to the office in 6 months. The last time we went to the office was mid-March. It's now mid-August, so it's been 6 months. We haven't been to the office, but I talk to my manager every day. I still push my work out. He's still happy with my output, right? So look at those type of industries as a youngster coming in. So look at technology a lot. Look at the food industry. I've got a friend of mine who's working at, I almost said the name, but he works for in the food industry. And it's booming right now. It's booming. When you're at home, what do? You eat. So you eat, Even if the price of the orange is now 4 rand and last week it was 3 rand, you'll still buy it because you still want an orange, So be smart about the industries that you try and apply to. There's industries that are saturated. There's so many people in so many other industries that are so saturated that youngsters are not coming in. You walk into the office and there's no young person. Because that industry is exactly. So look for those open market industries that can allow you to work remotely, that are in need right now. And if something is in need during a pandemic, trust me, it'll always be in need. There'll always be demand for it. So go for those type of opportunities. Look at those type of industries, and you'll never go wrong. And I think, it'll be very, I would not be doing myself justice if I didn't say this as well. So once you get your certificates and your degrees and everything, guys, there's something called an interview. And that's where most of us fail again. Because interview is a skill. You don't just walk in La Payana and start talking whatever you want to talk and think they'll hire you. No. Get on YouTube. Google how to answer tell us about yourself, because that's the first question they'll ask, right? And if you can't sell yourself, there's nothing else that you'll ever be able to sell. You can never sell your degree. You can never sell. There's nothing else that you'll be able to sell to that person if you flop. Tell us about yourself. So there's a skill to answering these questions. There's things that they look for, and then there's things that they don't care about. You get there and you start telling us about how when you play soccer for your team, blah, blah, blah. My hobbies include music. If they ask, then it's fine. But tell us about yourself, and you're telling us about the guitar that you're trying to learn. I don't know, guys. Just go on YouTube, go on Google, and just Google typical interview questions. There's about 10 or 15. It's not many. Study the responses. Go to YouTube. Look at how people respond to those questions and structure your responses. Do research on the company. My first job I got because so there were 3 interviews, and in the first interview there was one question that if you got wrong, they never gave you an opportunity for the second interview, and that question was, who's the CEO of the company? So if I didn't go and Google the structure in that company, then I would have never made it to the next round. And that's what HR was telling us, that if you don't know the person that you want to work for, why should we hire you? So it's small things. It's small things with your qualification, with your Udemy certificate, that can still find you sitting at home because you're not doing the due diligence that you're supposed to do. So interviews are a skill. You need to be skilled in answering interview questions, and that is very important. I've seen brilliant people who suck at interviews, and for them it's lucky because some of them, they're so good at school that the person will take the chance, right, and say, they had a bad interview. But for someone like me who was average at school, I could not be average during the interview process as well, because nobody's going to hire average, So you have to self-introspect as well, understand your strong points. If you don't have good marks out of school, then what else can you do to supplement? Because once they see your marks and they call you for an interview, it means that they are okay with your marks because they've called you for the interview. Now they need to see what else do you offer apart from marks. So if your marks are average, your interview is average, you're not getting that job. You're not getting that job. So interviews are a skill, right? And the last thing from my side, you need to be okay with rejection. Like, you need to be okay with rejection. I remember when I was looking for my first job, I got rejected 16 times, 16 different companies. I remember because you know how I remember? Because when I started applying, I opened a new Gmail account and I said I'm going to use this Gmail account for applying only. I'm not going to use it for anything. So I knew if there was an email in that Gmail account, it's about a job, right? So I would put out applications every single day, every time I got the chance. Like, I had a folder on my computer that had my CV, my degree, everything. And I'd just apply. Anything I saw, I'd apply. That's how I ended up at an accounting firm. Because anything that had computer science, I'd apply. You know? And I got rejected 16 times. 3 companies actually called me for an interview. So that means I had, 19 applications. So I had 19 applications, got rejected 16 times, got called into 3 interviews, failed the first 2 interviews, and then only passed the last interview, and I got into that accounting firm. So we need to be okay with rejection, because I see people applying for 3 jobs, they get rejected 3 times and they give up, you know. So it doesn't work like that. You don't get into corporates by not having resilience. So resilience is a key thing, even when you are applying, even during the job. The things that we face on the job, it's not as roses as we post on Instagram. You know, it's hard. It's not, sometimes you work and it's really not a good environment. But because you know, and if you fail here, then you suck it up. You know, you suck it up. So resilience is key. Resilience is key. Whether you're applying, whether it's school, whether it's a work, you need to build resilience into your character somehow.
Yo, bro, like you're very strong. I could have never told, because the way you're talking, it just seems like a person would think, nah, this guy has it easy. They're more nice. Knowing. We're trying to show the people here, the kids here, but it's not like all roses. This road of employment, career, and all these things, it's not as easy as you think. You find someone is successful, is driving his BMW, on the buying a McDonald's and enjoying his money. This guy vele. But and people are working out here. People are putting in the hours. The one are you telling me, you applied 16 times. That is crazy, bro. That is so crazy. And I'm forever gonna remember that now going forward with what we're doing, because we are now we're trying to get like other people, other partners involved, so that we can actually grow this thing, because it's an NPO and it's not easy. But I don't want to lie to you, it's not easy. At times you try to get interviews with people you know who are very good and skilled, they'll reject you, and then they'll give like an excuse that, there's no excuse, but you keep it moving. You don't hold it against them. You just keep it moving. I know what we're trying to do here, Rajat. So what you're saying is very, very important, and I hope the kids hear it, because they need to hear people like you speak. They need to hear people like you speaking the truth and living the truth they speak. No, thank you so much, brother. You've dropped so many jewels. Like I'm going to bed a happy man today, Rajat. Maybe
No, thank you for the platform, because we never really get to talk to people about this, you know. And as soon as you start talking about yourself, people think you're narcissistic. But sometimes it's not the case. Sometimes you really experienced a lot and you want to share, you know. So I feel like this platform is very important, because now we get to share our experiences with whoever is willing to listen. And we're here, man. Reach out, pop a mail. Talk to us, you know. We're willing to give you that guidance from the little that we know and the little that we've experienced, you know. So we're here and we're saying thank you for the platform. It's really it's very important.
It's cool, bro. No, thanks, bro. No, thank you very much. Well, what we'll do is, if anybody wants to ask us a question, just you comment below on the YouTube channel, and then we'll try and make sure we get you guys contact, even if it's like made, just to have a person, Anjali.
No problem.
We've over exceeded our time. It's gonna be 2 parts this one. Over exceeded our time. Let you go, relax, and enjoy your Friday. But before you go, we have a beautiful slogan we say here at the end of each interview that goes ratata career corner, ratata. Awushaye brazo.
Sure. Ratata, career corner, ratata.
Number 1, drink big, think sharp, educate yourself. Cut. We out.
Of course.